Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Wednesday, December 30th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. More countries are reporting their first cases of coronavirus variants. The U.S. is the latest to confirm a patient infected with a UK-linked variant, joining the EU, Canada, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. South Korea's industrial output rose in November from a month earlier, but consumption declined for the second straight month, signaling that the economic recovery momentum still remains weak amid the pandemic. And revolutionary French designer Pierre Cardin has died at the age of 98 after dedicating more than 70 years of his life to the fashion world. We'll begin with the COVID-19 situation here in South Korea. The country reported 1,050 new cases Wednesday, continuing its general uptrend. This is in part due to a mass outbreak at the Dongbu Detention Center in Seoul, where at least 792 people have been infected so far, with one death. Of Wednesday's new cases, 1,025 were locally transmitted and 25 were from overseas. There have been 20 more deaths, raising the death toll to 879. American drug maker Novavax is reportedly testing to see if its experimental COVID-19 vaccine is effective against the new UK variant. The decision comes following Pfizer and Moderna, who are also testing to see if their vaccines are still effective against the new strain. Novavax CEO earlier stressed confidence that the firm's vaccine will work against the new variant. Novavax has entered the final stage trial of its COVID-19 vaccine with 30,000 people in the U.S. and Mexico, with initial results expected early next year. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has criticized President Donald Trump for falling behind schedule on the COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Speaking in Wilmington on Tuesday, Biden pointed out only 2 million people had been inoculated, falling short of the 20 million shots Trump promised by the end of 2020. Warning it could take years to vaccinate Americans at the current pace, Biden said the vaccination rate must be boosted 5 to 6 times to 1 million shots a day. That rate would help reach his goal of ensuring 100 million doses by his 100th day in office. The European Union is on track to secure more COVID-19 vaccines developed by Pfizer and BioNTech, which it describes as safe and effective. This comes as the bloc is undergoing a mass vaccination program, as many countries there are in a race against time to contain a new variant of the virus. Our Kim Hyo-sun has this story.
The European Union has placed an additional order to buy 100 million more doses of Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine. The president of the European Commission explained via Twitter on Tuesday that this brings the total vaccines from the two firms that have assessed to be safe and effective to 300 million doses. The new order comes as some of the vaccine candidates ordered by the EU faced unexpected delays in clinical trials. The bloc also said the extra 100 million doses will be supplied at the same price as contracted previously. Pfizer explained on the same day that all 300 million doses are expected to be delivered by 2021. The EU also expects to approve the vaccine developed by Moderna sometime next month. It has placed an initial order of 80 million doses with an option for 80 million more that will be exercised going forward. Meanwhile, the European Medicines Agency says it's unlikely to be able to approve the COVID-19 vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and the University of Oxford in January. The regulator explained no application has been filed for the vaccine yet, adding that additional information on its quality will be needed for approval. Last week, AstraZeneca said its vaccine should offer, quote, 100% protection against the new virus variant first found in Britain, adding it's conducting further studies to confirm its efficacy. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
At least 17 countries have now detected cases of the UK-linked COVID-19 variant, with the U.S. being the latest to be added to the list. This comes as 2 other strains emerged in South Africa and Nigeria in recent days that are different to the UK variant. Our Lee Kyung-eun has the latest.
The first case of the highly infectious UK-linked coronavirus variant has been discovered in the U.S. Officials in the state of Colorado on Tuesday confirmed that a man in his 20s is infected by the strain that was first detected in southern England. The patient has no travel history, unlike the majority of such cases that involve people who've recently visited the UK. With the addition of the U.S., the new mutation has been detected in at least 17 countries outside the UK. The majority are concentrated on the European continent, including Spain and the Netherlands. But it's also circulated as far as Canada and Asia to countries like Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. India confirmed 6 patients infected with the new variant, all returnees from the UK.
I foresee a slight extension of the temporary suspension because we are getting the fuller picture of what has happened.
The UAE is among the latest to join the list, saying on Tuesday that a limited number of the cases have been found. The new strain is known to be up to 70% more transmissible, but not more deadly. This comes as South Africa and Nigeria have also found separate new coronavirus mutations in recent days. Those variants are also on course to travel themselves, with the South African strain identified in Australia, which has already reported 2 cases of the UK variant. The UK has expanded its Tier 4 restrictions to London and greater parts of England to contain the rapid spread. Other countries are responding by imposing flight bans and rolling out COVID-19 vaccines. Studies show that the current vaccines are still effective against the new strains. 이경은, Arirang News.
South Korea's industrial production and investments showed a slight rebound in November, but consumption fell. According to Statistics Korea on Wednesday, the overall industrial output rose 0.7% in November compared to the previous month. The rise was mainly due to an increase in manufacturing of semiconductors and electronic components. Facility investments also rose by 3.6%, but retail sales, a measure of consumption, fell 0.9% compared to the previous month. This is the second month in a row that the country experienced a decline in consumption. Chairing a Politburo meeting of the ruling Workers' Party, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has decided to hold the party's Congress in early January. The North state-run media reported Wednesday that the previous day's meeting was focused on confirming the agenda for the regime's 8th Congress. The event will be the first of its kind in 4 years. It's expected to cover a range of matters, including a 5-year economic development plan, and will possibly include a message to the incoming Biden administration. The pandemic reshaped various industries as customers look for ways to reduce the risk of infection. Laundry is done and even delivered in a non-contact way. And the so-called cyber showrooms enable people to house hunt online. Our Kim Jae-hee zooms in on the changes.
COVID-19 shutdowns, schools shifting to online classes, and people working from home have made spending trends in South Korea shift to revolve around people's home life. According to Statistics Korea, online shopping sales saw a continuous increase this year and look to be a promising sector in the post-COVID-19 economy. Not only are people having food or beverages delivered, some people are even having their laundry done in a non-contact way by having them washed and delivered to their doorsteps. Customers use a mobile app to request a laundry pickup, then simply leave their dirty clothes in front of their door.
It's really comfortable because I can get my laundry done without worrying about virus transmissions, and I don't have to go to the cleaners myself. I think I'll keep on using this service even after the pandemic is over.
The app has seen a huge growth in sales this year.
Our sales have more than doubled since January and February. Currently, our sales are around $910,000 per month.
With non-contact delivery being preferred amid the pandemic, some places have even started using robots for delivery. A convenience store at LG Science Park in Seoul has recently begun using an AI robot to deliver its items. Other industries are also looking to turn this health crisis into an opportunity. Amid heightened social distancing measures, some construction companies have introduced cyber model houses. People can now browse online for houses, looking through videos of the interior of a model house uploaded on the internet.
Although there were some complaints about not being able to visit in person, we've generally received many positive responses from customers saying they can browse through houses comfortably at home.
As South Korea looks to make the transition to a digital economy as part of its New Deal initiative, some industries have already adapted to a digital future. Kim Jae-hee, Arirang News.
French fashion legend Pierre Cardin has died at the age of 98. In a career spanning more than 70 years, Cardin made a splash in fashion in the 1960s and 70s with his bold designs. Our Choi Min-jung walks us through his achievements.
Revolutionary French designer Pierre Cardin has died at the age of 98 after dedicating more than 70 years of his life to the fashion world. France's Fine Arts Academy confirmed his death on Tuesday on Twitter. And according to a statement from his family to the AFP, Cardin spent his final hours at a hospital in the west of Paris. Cardin, who was well known for his futuristic and bold designs in the 1960s and 70s, started his career in the fashion industry at a young age after his family moved from Italy to France at the age of 2. In his mid-20s, Cardin began working for Christian Dior and soon created his very own label in Paris.
I was a Christian Dior student because I was the first employee of the House of Dior. When Dior used to open its doors at 8 a.m., I was at the front door at 7:30 a.m. I was the first employee of the House of Dior. At that time, no one knew Dior. No one. I was its first employee.
Cardin was also credited for bringing high-end haute couture to the masses, as he was the first to present ready-to-wear designs at department stores in the late 50s. On top of being a legendary designer, Cardin was also a branding pioneer. Apart from his clothing, he licensed his name to everyday items from cars to perfumes and clocks. His branded goods were sold across 5 continents in 140 countries. Pierre Cardin will now be remembered as a groundbreaking fashion legend who forever changed the fashion world. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
Good morning. What a dramatic change in the weather in just one day. Frigid air dragged temperatures to well below -10 degrees Celsius for most of central regions, and it feels even colder with sharp winds with cold wave alerts. So we'll need to stay bundled up with our thickest winter jacket today, and the highs will not rise much, staying well below freezing mark in most parts, while those on the west coast should prepare for a massive amount of snow through Friday today. West Coast regions in Ulleungdo, Dokdo, and Jeju are seeing heavy snow. In fact, western Jeollado province could see more than 30 centimeters, while mountainous regions on Jeju will see more than 50 centimeters with heavy snow alerts in place. And we won't be able to escape the freezing air through the New Year's holiday. Well, it's not going to be as cold as today, but highs will remain in the negative territory for next few days. So please stay well and warm. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
That's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.